Hola amigos! There are two R sounds in Spanish. We talked about one of them in a previous video, the trilled R sound, but there's a single R sound too, which is just like a flick of the tongue. So let's talk about how we can do that. What they don't have in Spanish is the R sound that we have in English. It's interesting because the R seems to be pronounced differently in every language. So let's talk about these two different R sounds. So you can see my other video, which I go into how, if you have difficulty making the trilled R sound, I tell you what I went through to do it myself, because when I started speaking Spanish, I couldn't make that R sound, and I taught myself how to do it, and I share that with you there. So I'm not going to go over that again, but I would like to compare the two R sounds, and I want to amplify that idea a little bit, because the trilled R, we make it in three situations. One, when a word begins with R in Spanish. So there's a lot of words that begin with R, like rápido, or río, or rosa, many others. So if a word starts with R, you trill it. If a word ends in R, just one R, you also trill it, like all of the infinitives. Hablar, escribir, correr. If there are two R's together in the middle of a word, you trill that R too. Like the one I just said, correr, or carro, perro. These all have two R's in the middle. And also, to some degrees or another, if an R is next to a consonant, like the word green, verde. So that's just one R, but it's next to a D. The only time you don't trill an R is when it's one single R in the middle of a word surrounded by vowels. So let's look at some of those words. You've even heard them most likely, right? You hear the person saying, mira, mira, look. Mira, that's M-I-R-A. So if you listen closely, it almost sounds somewhere like a D in English, mira, but not quite. And this is the way I explain it. That flick of the tongue there that you're doing when you say coulda, woulda, shoulda, that's the sound that the R makes, a single R in Spanish. So in the comments, please let me know how you're doing with this. If you struggle with this sound, what words you have difficulty with, which words you've been able to say better with practice. Let us know. Let me know. I'm looking forward to hearing your ideas on that. So if that's the sound, coulda, woulda, shoulda, then we can say words like the word but as a conjunction. Pero, P-E-R-O. Pero, and this is important, perro is dog. Two different words. Pero, perro. Caro does not mean car. Caro means expensive. C-A-R-O. Caro. C-A-R-R-O. Carro means car. So those are some of the examples. Now here's the one for more advanced students, because most people who learn Spanish, if they learn how to do one or the other of those sounds, or even both, they have difficulty putting them together in one word, right? So you might be able to say caro, and you might be able to say carro, or pero and perro, or correr, or mira, but put them together in one word, and that's where things go haywire. So here's an example, the word career. Or major. It can also mean your major in college or university. So it has the double R and then the single R in the same word. It's carrera. Carrera. So you do the R first and then the R second. Carrera. The other one is barrier. Barrera. It's the same thing with just a B at the beginning of it. Barrera. So practice those. I'll tell you the word that I had really a hard time saying. For years, I couldn't say the name Enrique. And if you're having this difficulty, when you have the trilled R with an N in front of it, like I did, I couldn't get that R to come out, and I couldn't get any. Whenever I asked a native speaker, they would just say it and say, oh, do it like this, Enrique. But that doesn't help, right? It's better if you give some kind of explanation. Well, here's the problem. When we make the N, we're putting our tongue up on the roof of our mouth on the palate, and it's in a position that makes it really difficult to then go into the r, which is a little bit lower or higher. You have to figure out where do you put your tongue when you finally can make the r sound. Mine's actually a little bit higher. Yeah, slightly up higher. And so the N, you put your tongue a little bit lower on your palate, just above your teeth, so it's in the wrong position. So all you have to do when you are going to say something where there's an N sound and then the trilled R, just place your tongue about a centimeter or a quarter of an inch higher up on your palate, and that sound will come out. Enrique, Enrique. Yeah, there I had a little bit difficulty getting it out at first. Enrique. And you just have to practice it. Or like if I wanted to say with speed, I would say con rapidez. So part of it is habit and practice, but also if you just move your tongue to a different position, you'll be able to get that out. So I hope you have fun with this, learning the difference, practicing the difference between the single R and the double R sound. Remember, practice makes perfect.